Good morning, Indian River State College students and faculty. On today's news report, we touch on the topic of addiction and the question, is it a mental disease or a moral defect? College students in the 18 to 25 age range are especially at risk for developing substance use disorder, and they are, perhaps more than any other population group, intensely targeted by drug education. The University of Alabama conducted research to determine the structure and configuration of cultural models that cause substance abuse among students. The model included 28 causes spanning 5 different themes. The first theme emphasized biological causes, referring properties of individual users such as genetics and addictive personality. The second theme to the research is self-medication for both physical and psychological stress and the use of drugs and or alcohol as a coping mechanism. The familial theme includes experiences with the family or structure of said family. The social theme emphasizes on the individual's peer group. And lastly, the hedonistic theme, which simply touches on the matter of short-term pleasure-seeking behaviors. Individuals in the 18 to 25 age range are especially at risk for developing substance use disorder due to causes such as binge drinking on campus, high levels of stress, and an emphasis of social life. Studies show that many students use substances in what can be considered problematic intensity. Using accepted diagnostic criteria, nearly 20% of college students in the United States could be diagnosed with a substance use disorder, but only 3.9% of these students receive any type of treatment. Now, let's pan out to Caleb, who has been accumulating opinions on the matter from local Port St. Lucie community members.
Is your perception of a drug user stopping them from getting treatment? Like, because you think so negatively of him, and you think, oh, because I wouldn't even let him use his phone. What if he really needed that to get to a place where he could receive treatment?
Honestly, okay, I get where you're coming from. A lot of drug users, like my uncle, he's a big-time drug user.
You're a big-time drug user.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you don't use drugs?
No, not
Have you ever used drugs?
I used to, yeah.
All right, and Dejan, you've never used drugs?
No, I've never experimented. I'm not.
All right, so you're definitely a pure soul in this.
Yes.
This is a really good viewpoint to have.
Okay, let me go. So we're talking about people drug using. My uncle, he was an off and on type dude. He used to smoke a lot. He sold his car just to get a pack of cigarettes. Like, just to get cigarettes. He sold his car just to get cigarettes. I don't know why. It's just stupid. Anyway. The thing is, drugs could be a good thing and could be a bad thing at the same time. Mm-hmm. Drugs can make you go crazy, make you do lunatic shit. I shouldn't be cursing.
You can do whatever you want. This is college, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't, but this is college.
Lunatic things don't make you do things that
we're adults.
Not supposed to. Not supposed to do. Like let's say when I actually had an edible, my first time, when I had an edible, I was going crazy. I was turning pale. I was cold. I didn't like it.
You can't do drugs.
Huh?
You can't do drugs. Drugs are bad.
I'm just trying to tell you, drugs are not good. Okay?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing.
You know.
But what? Okay.
It's more, going to his point, then I'm going to go back to what I was previously saying.
Because I really do want to direct it more towards their treatment and how your stigma could prevent that.
I will admit, if a normal person dressed such as Manny came up to me in the street and said, "Can you use my phone?" I would be more open than if somebody who was stumbling. Well, if he was stumbling, had some blood on him, then I said, "Oh, do you need some help?" But if I see somebody who's off a shore,
hopefully you just call the ambulance yourself. You'd be like, "Oh man, there's blood all over you."
Yeah, look,
then I'd be like,
honestly, if he got to that point where he got that far, honestly, I wouldn't say there's really not much you can do for helping him.
Thank you, Caleb. As you can see, addiction, like I'm sure you know, affects so many in our community, and not only those that are within our age range. Now, back to Caleb to interview on a different perspective of the topic.
Or anybody have you seen any drug use in your life?
Yeah, I've seen plenty of drug use in my life.
How did that affect your opinion of the drugs and the people doing the drugs after the fact?
Well, the drugs are always, let's say, accessible. They can always access it because, the United States lets it into the country.
Yeah.
Well, the drug, it's a disease. Let's put it that way. Because once you take it, it changes your whole aspect of that person, and the person changes into something different, and he can't control himself. Because it's like caffeine. You need it in the morning when you wake up and you cough and you drink it. It's a specific drug, but it's more point it's stronger. So the person that takes it changes into a whole different animal. Let's put it that way, and can't be trusted.
Is drug use more of a mental defect or a moral disease, in your opinion, Dejan?
I feel like it's more of a. I don't think that it's either though. I don't think that morally. I don't think that it's wait. Cause see, I was gonna go off the top, but I've got to word it. Cause I don't think it's a mental. I don't think that somebody is immoral because they start smoking weed and then they get hooked onto it. But
Now, what about if somebody was, hooked on crack and robbing houses? Does that become more of a moral disease?
Well, yes, to a certain. But see, this is the thing though. They wouldn't be in that correct state of mind. Their moral compass would be changing as they started doing the drugs. That wouldn't be the same person. That person who was robbing the houses doing cocaine, yes, that would be their moral compass would be way off. But that's not.
So what you're saying is that would be more due to the addiction itself, not necessarily.
That wouldn't just be them as the person. That'd be more of the addiction. But I don't think that. But I do see some, not really hereditary, like it's not in your genes. But if mom and dad, or even just mom or anybody that you're around who's influential, does drugs, that will have an impact on you. You will see. And I mean, just the overall addiction, it will become more and more of a problem because it's all over the world. When you're watching sports, you'll see, here's the betting lines for the day. Will LeBron James score 20 points? I mean, now there's little kids who will be seeing this. That'll get into their head.
Well, you're starting to getting onto people mimicking other behaviors and stuff like that. Like learned behaviors and things like that. With that being said, would that make it more of a mental defect? Would it be something that becomes mentally wrong with them? Is that...
Well, over time, yes. After it would just get into their psyche that this is normal, that drinking is normal, smoking is normal, but at the same time...
Now, isn't that more morality in your opinion?
Well, yes, their morals would change, but see, that's the tricky thing. I don't think that it's
right.
Either.
Maybe I worded that wrong. Maybe I worded that wrong.
It's a hereditary thing. Like, I don't think there's something in their genes that just this person is just. Well, some people can have an addictive personality,
right?
But I don't think that it's just something that just like, right as you pop out, you're just more likely to be addicted to heroin. I think that it's people you're around.
So, would you say it's not physiological, but more psychological?
Yes.
All right, so it's all...
Yeah, I think that it's really about your surroundings. I don't think that it's anything in your bloodline or anything, but it's really about your surroundings.
Right.
And I don't think that it's like, well, you will become immoral, but I don't think that the drugs will make you immoral, if you get what I'm saying.
So, do you feel like enough's being done to help people?
I can't really say because I don't, for one, I don't know any addicts, so I don't know.
That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing.
I don't know if enough is being done because I don't see if addicts are getting help or not. But at the same time, see, it's tough because I don't know. I honestly cannot say if enough is being done because I don't know if an addict. But I think that more would have to be done to stop them from getting addicted. Because once they are addicted, if that's what you're saying, is there enough help for an addicted person? I don't know how you can help them because they won't. I mean, unless they take it upon themselves, you really won't be able to convince somebody.
Right. So
I do think there's help out there,
but it's more on the actual individual themselves.
It would be better to prevent them from being addicted in the first place than trying to get them off of it.
Great. Thank you, Dejan. I appreciate your time. And that's been about all for our video presentation. I appreciate everybody paying attention to us. Y'all have a good one.